Good evening and good afternoon, everyone watching Speed Gaming today. So today, this is Army of One. We are joined by Autumn Out of Habit.
How's it going, Army?
It's going good. It's going good. Pretty good day today. Hopefully it'll get better because we've got a good race set up for you. This is TheyAreChris versus Tupto. Chris has been following the Randomizer community. Tupto is a good speedrunner. Everything should be good.
Yeah, I find it's always interesting when you get the matchups here between someone who is very well practiced at vanilla speedruns and someone who's primarily working through the randomizer. Because you can see some real differences in technique between those types of runners.
And like I was saying with Herc yesterday, there are two main parts of running randomizers fast. The first one is your just vanilla speedrun execution, and then the second is routing and game knowledge that you just don't get with vanilla runs. We saw that yesterday with you versus Scotty, and routing overcame one of the best fusion speedrunners. It was really great to watch.
You call it routing, I call it a coin flip.
You called it a coin flip, but I called out Herc. Yeah, he's also a great vanilla speedrunner. He's what, 11th on the any percent list, something like that. Like
he's for
up
8th
there
with FPIS. And it looks like our runners are off.
There. But he was making comments on your routing decision to go into those where you found charge and plasma. And I was saying, no, I think that's the correct way to go. I'm not really a vanilla speedrunner, but I've been following this randomizer very carefully. Oh no, Chris! Chris did not quite get the climb.
Tupto making short work of the climb, having a bit of a lead going up on the way to main deck.
And this just shows the difference when you get a really practiced speedrunner with execution versus someone who's like, okay, I'm gonna try this randomizer thing. It's really fun.
Absolutely. And for anyone in chat who isn't familiar with this randomizer, we're going up to get the first item up at the main deck data room. We can have 3 different starts here. We can have a missile start, a morph ball start, or a speed booster start. That will change the route through how we get to the rest of the game. I always am known for calling for a morph ball start, as I think those are the spiciest and most interesting seeds. Let's see what we get today.
It's one of those. We're starting with the speed booster. This randomizer certainly favors speed booster and missiles over morph ball. I think it's just easier for the randomizer to place items and find a route with those two items compared to morph.
I would agree with that. Morph ball just opens up so few checks. Now, the interesting thing about having speed boosters, our runners are not able to check the area by Arachnus, the first boss of the game, and need to instead use a series of shine sparks in order to get to these sectors. Most likely with this, we're probably going to see both runners go to Sector 2 first, but I am getting ahead of us here for a second.
I mean, we might start a little bit on that conversation. The first big decision in a speed booster or morph ball start is, well, in higher difficulties, it's whether or not to go to Sector 2 or Sector 1. In this configuration, and Chris unfortunately missing the Shine Spark trick, and Tupto making his way into the first item check into the Varia suit. But anyway, so usually the first big decision is whether to go Sector 2 or Sector 1. Right now, Chris just a little bit too high standing on these stairs. That's unfortunate. Tupto going Sector 1 and changing his mind.
I think that is the classic play of, especially for a practice any percent runner, easy to just kind of autopilot to going there until you realize you're on the elevator and you don't have the ability to do much of anything, especially at this setting, difficulty 2. You cannot be expected to kill the first stabilizer with just speed booster, and Chris finally getting through the speed booster in the climb, while we have Tupto checking one of the first potential exploits in the cargo room, seeing it is a major.
And Tupto has died because everything in Sector 2 wants to kill you.
And it
So
is very capable of it.
So Chris now has a 3-minute and 30-second head start on Tupto. Let's see what he can do with that. Now, what's interesting is that Tupto seems to have forgotten the Shine Spark check, or Shine Spark can kill those Kagos, so he didn't store it and he just checked the item and then sort of got caught without any energy tanks.
Yeah, it definitely can be an adjustment going into Sector 2 with absolutely no energy tanks to pick up. Meanwhile,
here's the Shine
showing
Spark
off
I
what
was
you
talking
said.
about.
And we have
Charge
Charge
Beam. So just to cover the objectives of this randomizer, of course it's to beat the game. But in order to do that, you need, I count 8 or 9 items. The items that are explicitly expected is Charge Beam, Plasma Beam, Missiles are the 3 items that you must have. But you also have to go down to lower Sector 4 and unlock level 4 locks. And that requires the Gravity Suit, the Speed Booster, the Morph Ball bombs or Screw Attack to get into the lock, and then something to get out of Sector 4. And
while we
one
have
more
Tupto picking his Speed Booster back up.
And there's one more item that isn't stated. You do need one of the high jumps or space jump upgrades right now. That should be coming out in a later update whenever Kazuto finishes moving and is able to start working on the randomizer again.
Very much a rite of passage for new rando players to get to SAX one time without high jump or space jump and wonder why nothing is spawning up in that room.
That's happened to me before. You can even go into the navigation room, and you can't access the console, though. It's kind of funny. And here we have missiles.
So far, the suit being pretty generous with its main items up front, although we do still need to find Morph Ball to open up most of the game. With missiles, this would generally lead me to believe that a Sector 1 play is what we're going to see, but this does open up the option to go up to Arachnus, the first boss of the game as well. Meanwhile, Tupto getting the Varia suit from the top of main elevator and on the way down to presumably go back to Sector 2 and pick up the items that we've just seen Chris pick up.
Let's see if Tupto remembers that he has Speed Booster so he can pick up Charge Beam. And let's see where Chris decides to go. So as you were saying, Autumn, there are 5 checks up at Arachnus, but there are, let's see, 6 or 7 checks in the Sector 1 loop? Something like that. If you have Speed Booster and Morph Ball, which Chris has. So it's usually a good play, good idea to... Oh, Chris doing a safety save? And Tupto remembering he does indeed have Speed Booster.
It could be a safety save. It could also just be a save. A lot of runners will save at the beginning of Sector 1. If Sector 1 is barren, you can just reset out rather than having to climb all the way out, and that can be a time save as well. Oh, and not getting the spark to get the swag kill in the first stabilizer.
But having Charge Beam will make quick work of that first stabilizer anyway, so that's always a nice upgrade to have really early.
And we see a Morph-locked major item in the Hornode room. And we're about to go check the lava moat here, which can be checked by speed boosting across it. You can get back from the other side with as little as 13 energy if you're good enough with your shot cancel. And Tupto just opening their Sector 1 locks.
Chris unfortunately dropping his Shine Spark, so he won't be able to grab what's across from Lava Dive. Only 79 energy. I wouldn't even go for that jump to check it.
Yeah, it's a risky play, but It is very possible to get back. Chris, however, just deciding that they wish to go further down into Sector 1.
Now, without Morph Ball, this is actually the last check you can make in Sector 1, unless you want to go forward and get soft locked, which has happened to me on occasion.
Yeah, we all do love our soft locks over here in the Metroid Fusion Randomizer community. tupto making their way back out of Sector 2. And we'll see if they make the same play or if they decide to go check what everybody's favorite Roly Boy has in store.
And it's looking like Arachnus is the critical path right now. Let's see if there's a major here. There is.
And we have
Plasma Beam.
Not going to allow them to progress in Sector 1. However, that will make the Arachnus fight much quicker. Is required for Go Mode. And generally just a very nice upgrade to our DPS.
Yeah, this is an interesting moment for Chris. He's got a bunch of Go Mode items that he found Plasma deep in Sector 1. They did save at the beginning just in case they got nothing, but if they plan on going back down through Sector 1, they might not be coming out of this with excess time. tupto has already made the decision to use the missiles he got in order to visit Arachnus without Morph Ball. He didn't save. He might not be aware of the soft lock danger because, I mean, you've got missiles, you're going to go to Arachnus anyway, right?
Meanwhile, it looks like Chris abandoning the lava moat check, going to go in and realize that they are not able to check this without Morph. But taking a save in Sector 1, speaking of Morph Ball, we have tupto picking that up near the Arachnus area, proving that this is the correct decision. And with Charge Beam and some missiles, not a difficult fight in store. Also picking up the first energy tank we've seen, which is unusual for a randomizer seed. Chris going again for the Lava Moat Spark, getting the Spark this time. tupto picking up another energy tank. Chris also picking up an energy tank, which will help them get out of the Lava Moat.
Now, both Chris and tupto picked up the Varia suit, which will shield a little bit against that lava damage, but so yeah, this will be interesting to see if Chris goes back into Sector 1 after getting Morph Ball out of Arachnus.
I know that's not a play I would make with having checked most of it. I would want to really put that off, although at least that
there is one major right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tupto having made the right call. It's a coin flip whether you go for the 5 at Arachnus that's far away from the main elevator, or you just go for that 3 in Sector 1 that's right here, very close to Sector 2.
Anytime you get a speed booster start or a Morph Ball start, it's always difficult to decide when you want to go to Arachnus because there are those dense checks. But like you said, it is so far out of the way, and there are so many items that open up just a couple of additional checks each in that direction. Getting the Morph check and picking up the missile tank on main deck. You have to wonder if tupto makes that call as a gamble because of the early death and losing a few minutes, if that might have influenced the decision to make the trip up to see Arachnus. Meanwhile, Chris checking Sector 3. There are 2 items available to check here. One across the heated room and one underneath the data room. Of course, we know that the Morph Ball needed to open level 2 locks will not be here. And just an energy tank in the ceiling, Chris deciding they do not want that, resetting out. Tupto now making their way into Sector 1, where we know
And
they
we'll
will
be
very
able-
time plasma.
We'll be able to see what that morph check will be right after this first stabilizer room.
And getting the kill with the speed booster, not required, but always great to see for the swag. And it looks like Chris is making the play to go up and get their morph ball while Tupto picking up the bombs.
So bombs will open up Sector 2. It also opens up Sector 4. And with Speed Booster, we'll also unlock green doors and open up Sector 3. So bombs are really pivotal for routing. It all hinges around either finding bombs or screw attack most of the time.
And with Tupto having Morph Ball here after picking up their high jump, we will get to see what's under the lava moat in Sector 1 as well, see if there's anything of use. And there is a major down there today.
Ice Beam.
Just the Ice Beam, so Tupto will now be able to shoot more rapidly. But also that does give them a way out of lower Sector 4 when we get to that point.
Now, it might not be specifically developer intended. In fact, I call it scamming out of Sector 4, but you can hit one of the puffers next to the Sector 4 data room in order to get out with just ice missiles or single ice beam without wave or diffusion.
And we'll see Tupto most likely going to go all the way through Sector 1, so we will get to see if Chris has missed out on anything by not being able to make it to Charge Core as we watch them finally pick up their Morph Ball.
And if you're this deep in Sector 1, you're going to go ahead and finish it if you can.
Yeah, chat is pointing out that Arachnus is going to be easy with Plasma. If there is anyone hanging out here who has not seen that kill on Arachnus, it is a very satisfying kill. And speaking of Plasma, Tupto now picking theirs up. Have to be very happy to see that. And by my count, we are just Gravity Suit away from them being able to get through the game.
Gravity in one of the jumps.
They do have high jump. They picked that up in the lava mode.
Oh, you're correct. They do have high jump. And there
Chris
goes
using
Arachnus.
missiles before switching to Plasma to finish off Arachnus. Now using missiles against the core, trying to position it in the sweet spot, not quite getting it. Just an energy tank for their trouble. Right, that is correct, princesses. That Chris does also need screw or bombs for go mode. I was referring more at that point to what Tupto has, since they have more information here and more items.
So go mode is the colloquial phrase, just meaning that you don't have to make any more checks and you can just advance to the end of the game. It'll vary from person to person what they consider a check. Like, I consider going down to red doors to be necessary before go mode, because then there's nothing in between you and the final boss. But some people consider just upgrades.
Right. One play that I saw Tupto make that I always like when I see runners make is activating the charge core fight by shooting the item before sparking up to check the item above it.
And there's
we have
gravity.
Suit. What is this seed, everyone? This may be the fastest seed that I have ever seen.
It depends upon if Tupto looks for wave beam or diffusion missiles.
I can't imagine a runner of their caliber being that worried about it, but being in go mode before 18 minutes in the seed, I definitely believe this qualifies as a jet.
And Tupto just not checking that save room item. Yeah, Tupto is definitely in go mode. He knows that he can just head straight to red doors, and he knows he can scam his way out of lower 4.
Meanwhile, Chris is going to pick up their bombs. We'll be very happy to see that.
Now, Chris is just gambling that there's nothing left in Sector 1. Unfortunately, they don't know that Gravity Suit is above Charge Core. So, unfortunately, they'll be... or they're just saving for a quick exit, just in case. No, they're leaving. They are leaving Sector 1 and they're leaving Gravity Suit behind. An unfortunate gamble that they have to make because of their first call to go to Sector 1 instead of Arachnis, and that's sort of what happens. You just make the unfortunate call and you have to start making gambles, and those gambles might continue to be the wrong call.
Sometimes you just get a seed where you just make a wrong guess and it costs you the entire race, and that looks like that may be the case here. But it is very much not appealing to go all the way to Charge Core when you've checked all of the items up toward that. That is not a quick check. I would want to have Wave Beam before I go make that check. Tupto going in, opening their level 2 locks, and then bailing right out of Sector 3. And he is just on a mission. Meanwhile, Chris has found the space jump. And going behind that at the back of the original heated run. And let's see what we have above the back. Chat is asking, with just the luck not playing out, what would make a good run, and honestly, I base a lot of it just on the coherence of routing and what decisions are made. Unfortunately, I don't think there are a lot of ways that there will be the obvious play to go get their Gravity Suit here.
Yeah, Gravity Suit is a must item. It's not even one of the overlapping items. Like, you could have Screw Attack, and Screw Attack can get you both into the level 4 lock room, and it can get you out of lower Sector 4. But Gravity Suit, you just need Gravity Suit to beat the game.
I believe there is a clip to get into lower 4 without Gravity Suit. I've heard it spoken of, but I have not seen that. Kirk pointing out that he believes that Chris and Tupto's routing were the big difference here, and I would have to agree with that. Just having to go through all of Sector 1 without Morph when Morph was at Arachnis can be hard to recover when the opponent goes to Arachnis first.
So actually, since we have Hercules bench press in chat, I do have a question for them about that graveless red doors. How do you get to the red doors without gravity? Because vanilla, you have to use speed boost in order to break into Sector 4 from Sector 5. So I'm not exactly sure that I see... there's Chris picking up the diffusion missiles. That's certainly an easy way out of lower 4. Unfortunately, that still won't help him finish the game before Tupto.
And his pointing out that is an out-of-bounds trick. Okay, it's an ouch that is used to clip out of bounds using an ice clip.
I see.
Which would mean that that should only be possible because the randomizer is based on the North American release and not the JP release, which patched out a lot of the out-of-bounds possibilities in this game. Chris is making quick work of lower Sector 3. Unfortunately, we know this will not pay off for them, even as they are finding some nice-to-have major items. Although I would say, personally, looking at what Tupto has, I would be happy to be missing Space Jump, especially needing to scam out of lower 4. I find that much easier to set up with a wall kick. But I also am mainly known for my just general distaste for the Space Jump item in general. And Tupto choosing to store a charge rather than do a jump to get through, a bit of a safer strat to get through the Kago, and then sparking up to the top of the Palamp room. Falling back down, we need to freeze some enemies to climb up there. And
yeah, this is always a fun climb without a space jump. Chris is fighting Box right now.
Box, everyone's favorite rowdy pal.
It really does have the best music, though.
That is true. I keep wanting to commentate on a seed where a runner goes to Xbox, just because I want to listen to Cat Jam for as long as possible. For anyone who doesn't know, if you fight Xbox in this game, its music does not stop playing until you pick up another major item. Tupto deciding to check what's in Sector 4 data room, seeing if it is something that could make clearing out the game just a little bit quicker. Have to assume that he's looking for either super missiles or wide beam there, and now trying to scam out of lower Sector 4. And this trick works because as you are moving forward, the beam adds your velocity to it, so essentially you can just hit the beam to move further than it would expect and freeze the power. Unfortunately, you don't want to freeze it when it's inflated.
He got it the second time, though. And now he's just on the way out of the game.
Meanwhile, watching Chris pick up a powerbomb tank in upper sector 3, the item that speedrunners never want to see here. Always feels bad to just fall down and get scammed. Tupto going for a refill, knowing that he does not have great missiles. And with non-upgraded missiles, it will take 24 missiles to take out the ice core.
Tupto doesn't even have enough missiles to take it out without refilling.
Dragon Fan is pointing out that Tupto is on this pace going up to main deck in go mode at 26 minutes with a death costing 3 minutes at the beginning of the game. And that might be the difference for sub 30. Curious to see where Chris decides to check next, going farther away from Sector 1. We'll get to see our first appearance of Sector. Okay, choosing against Sector 6.
Sector questioning decisions is, I believe, the sector that they are currently in.
Yeah, at least they decided to change on the fly to the next sector over. Unlike sometimes where some of my decision making is I will think about 6 and then run all the way over to 3, which is not quick and not recommended. Ice Core with normal missiles is not a fun fight. With only 20 missiles, Tupto is going to need to rely on some refills, and with only charged Ice Plasma, even the first phase of SAX will take some time, but we are going to get that fight on the board here.
Tupto considering trying the quick kill using Ice Beam, but I don't think that Tupto's going to have a good time or a good chance to try out a new strat that he probably hasn't tried a little bit. Chris finding the screw attack in upper 4.
And this,
it's always a fun find, but orphaning
I
the
disagree
gravity suit on accident.
And we have some runners who will disagree with you from the tournament because Screw Attack opens up so much of the game, and when the go mode item is not screw locked, you just bait yourself into a bad decision. Meanwhile, Tupto has 1 health.
Tupto!
Giving us the drama and the content here, and I don't remember, did he save? I guess we're about to find out.
Tupto did save. I'm thinking at 28 minutes in, already at the SIX. Tupto's probably feeling pretty confident about how quickly they're able to go through this seed. But
although with this
you
much
never...
of a jet seed, you do have to wonder if there's the thought of, I just died twice. How close is my opponent to finishing behind me? Because how many times have you seen someone done when you're on your way down to Omega? I know I've had that happen to me.
At
Honestly,
least
that's
once
usually
during
you
this
doing that to
tournament.
me, Army. Looks like Tupto's going back to safety strats here. Probably a good idea without much equipment, with no screw attack for safety. And Tupto's still managing to take a lot of hits from the SAX's screw attack here. Meanwhile, we are about to see the TheyAreChris fight on TheyAreChris' stream.
Yeah, Tupto is certainly having some difficulty with this SIX. I suppose that just goes to show when you're practicing any percent or just regular speedruns, you have a very specific quick kill strat for the SIX, and they're just not equipped to do it in the randomizer.
Yeah, it's one of the important points of learning your backup strats here with the randomizer, because you're not always going to have ice missiles available for the quick kill. And TheyAreChris has joined the battle here. Tupto going in for round 3 against the SAX.
And it definitely looks like Tupto is trading positions left and right with the SAX more often now. Just last round, Tupto was going underneath that overhang and just getting trapped by the SIX and having to run through the screw attack.
Yeah, also does not seem nearly as worried about trying to hit the SAX with the charge flare. Meanwhile, TheyAreChris has gone down, speed core is on the screen, and we will get to see what TheyAreChris has. There is definitely some debate in the community over whether you should fight TheyAreChris every time or if TheyAreChris should be skipped. Army, I know we have different positions, but today TheyAreChris only holding a missile tank, so definitely not the right call. And Tupto has taken down the first phase of the SAX in round number 3.
But only 80 energy left. This fight isn't over yet. Just a single shot from Ice Core will finish Tupto off. And Tupto doesn't have the screw attack, so he doesn't have invincibility from that Ice Beam.
And
Speaking of which, it's like, I know that position. I've been there before.
And you have to think, after a few deaths like this, the tilt might be setting in and making it harder to get back into the match. Tupto is going right back to it, though. The real question is, how long does it take Chris to go to Sector 1 and fight Charge Core to find their gravity suit, to see if we can make a race out of this?
Well, with screw attack, that certainly sends Chris off in a lot of directions, and all of them are wrong. It would be a long time before I would consider going back to get those, 4 checks around Charge Core. It's another check.
3 checks there, actually.
But remember, Chris didn't pick up Ice Beam and Lava Dive. That's one more Morph Ball check, and there's another Morph Ball. So it's, actually it's 6 checks that Chris hasn't gotten in Sector 1.
That is true. I was thinking just in the Charge Core area, so there is some density of checks there. But I think a lot of runners would be waiting to see Wave Beam to be able to go the quick way rather than having to loop through all of lower Sector 1 to get back to Charge Core.
Absolutely agreed.
The only way that this can get worse for Chris in terms of having to make routing decisions is if they run across power bombs, at which point the entire station will be opened up.
Why did you bring that thought into existence? You know that Chris is absolutely going to find power bombs as the first item in Sector 6 now, right? I mean,
I have
it's inevitable.
never given anyone the commentator's curse, so I've got to go for it where I can.
Tupto was finishing off the first phase of SAX much more easily, and the second phase.
Yeah, 520 energy, a lot better, but being trapped in a corner. Oh, trying to get the ice core caught on the lower ledge. This is actually a strat that I have not seen done before.
Oh, hey, look, it's a major at the very entrance of Sector 6. I wonder what it could be.
And
oh,
we
it's
have
Wide Beam. Oh, that's nice.
No commentator's curse today. Wide Beam, always something you like to see, which would actually make Wave Beam a much more appealing item. Tupto not even going for doubles against the ice core, just being patient and taking these single shots here. Will need to refill a couple missiles at one point. And have to assume that this play is to have to refill as little as possible to not have to have the ice core able to take shots. And now freeing the ice core from its prison, shooting through it with plasma beam to get some drops, and launching a missile. I believe that is 17 missiles that have been landed on charge core.
I wasn't keeping perfect track, but I just certainly saw a few missiles that were orphaned, either bouncing off the shell or just being fired out the wrong direction.
I have to say though, I might end up stealing that strategy of catching the ice core on the lower ledge. Because unfortunately, I have not yet gotten good enough to go for the quick kill against SAX. Every time I try, I end up letting it get the quick kill on me. And this marathon fight with the ice core continues while we know that TheyAreChris is just going further and further from what they need.
Oh, the marathon the marathon fight has finished up, and Tupto is in view of the finish line.
Propulsion sequence is activated. Within 3 minutes, we will have an end to this race, assuming that there are no shenanigans against the Omega Metroid, which will be a little more challenging without having Wide Beam.
But it'll be slightly easier not having Wave Beam.
Meanwhile, Herc in the chat asking to make predictions on how many deaths we will see at the Omega Metroid. I'm gonna have to agree with FPiz here. I'm gonna say 0 deaths. I believe in Tupto.
I think Tupto has this. Famous last words, perhaps. Commentator's curse, something, something, something.
Well, either that happens or we get content. Unfortunately, Tupto not having screw attacks, so we are not getting to see the swag low height shine spark to Omega. And TheyAreChris finding some more minor items for their trouble. About to go fight Megacore. Tupto, meanwhile, having Omega Metroid scream at them. They're back down to 1 health for the second time in recent memory. Hopefully they don't end up losing that 1 health again. And Tupto taking a cautious approach to the Omega Metroid while TheyAreChris is fighting the Megacore. Tupto having a lot of shots taking off of the Omega Metroid's head. Only the exposed portion of the belly is vulnerable here. And without having Wide Beam, it can be very easy to have your shots miss. And Omega Metroid is dead, so we are about to have a winner in this race. Hercules bench press, fortunately you do not have to take a cold shower right now. And we have a winner.
You don't have to.
38:30. Get your GGs in the chat for Tupto. And it looks like we are getting ready to bring him into commentator's booth for a quick interview.
Oh, it looked like he was here for a moment and then he left.
Gravity was the speed locked check above charge core.
Hello.
Hello! Congratulations, Tupto.
That was a really
GG.
stupid mistake. That was so dumb. I didn't deserve that win. Like, at all.
No, I think you did. You made all of the right routing decisions, and Chris didn't. And it's kind of unfortunate for Chris, but you played the seed much better than Chris did.
I'm guessing the winning play was just going to Arachnus after getting missiles straight away.
That was the play. Chris went to Sector 1 at first. They dove all the way down to find their plasma beam. And so they still have not gone back to check charge core, which not a very appealing play. Have to wonder, what was the reason that you decided to go to Arachnus first rather than going to Sector 1?
I died, so I needed to take a risk in order to get myself in a favourable position again, basically. So I took the gamble that Arachnus was going to have Morph Ball, and it paid off.
Yeah, that decision definitely paid off. Another thing that worked in your favor is Chris went into Sector 4 and they found Screw Attack, which is just sending them in all the wrong directions here.
That's a major red herring. Oh.
Yeah, Chris is in the bottom of Sector 6 at the moment, just finishing off Megacore. He's still got plenty. They still have plenty of different ways that they can go, and most all of them are wrong, unfortunately, for the seed.
Oh man, that's...
Yeah, at least they were able to find their wide beam at the top of Sector 6, so...
Oh my god, wide beam. I would have killed for wide beam. Oh, that fight...
You had a bit of trouble with the SAS.
Yeah, because the charge plasma ice beam does no damage. It does pitiful amounts of damage. So you're just there shooting at it forever. And yeah, I make one too many mistakes a couple of times, and like every time I died, I was like, "Oh, that's it. Chris has won now. That's it. GG." And then it just never happened.
Yeah, fortunately for you, they just got sent off in all the wrong directions by this seed, and that gave you a chance, as we referred to it at one point as a marathon fight against the SAX and then Ice Core. I actually want to steal one of your strats that you picked up, though. That was really genius to keep the Ice Core caught under the lower ledge instead of the upper one so that you could farm more quickly.
Yeah, but then the farm didn't really work out, so it was a nice idea, but then I just couldn't grab any of the X's, just flying right over my head.
Yeah, they definitely were being a little bit of a troll on that one.
Yeah.
Ice Core without space jump isn't the easiest fight. There's not a lot of clearance with just a high jump to get over the Ice Core.
And it's just base missiles as well, so they're doing 10 damage each.
Yeah, the question, were the single shots, was that just to conserve since you knew that you didn't have enough ammo as it was and to limit farming?
Yeah, pretty much. I also wasn't sure if doubles would work. It's not something I've tested enough to be sure, so I didn't want to like risk it and make a stupid play.
Yeah, ideally you don't want to be in a world where you have to get practiced at fighting the Ice Core with just base missiles. It's not a fun time.
It's really not a fun time. Like, I don't think there's a worse setup for the end game than charge plasma ice base missiles. That's
Oh
pain.
no, there is one more. Not having Varia suit. You got hit by that ice beam more than a few times, and
Oh yeah.
getting Metroided can ruin your day.
Oh yeah, and she likes that ice beam super missile combo.
Yeah,
Although
I
don't know
hope you
if
like your 300 energy a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of energy, Chris is just picking up an E-tank over here.
Chris has decided to dive into Sector 2. Lots and lots of checks down here. So it's very check-rich. It's just not what Chris will be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the option, they do have the opportunity to find ice missiles down here, power bomb data, wave beam, but not the gravity suit that they need.
That was over in Sector 1, wasn't it? Above in the crab room, right? I forgot already. I just did it.
Yeah, I believe it was the crab room above charge core.
It was the crab room. I misspoke earlier and said it was the speed check above the charge core, but
I think that was just an energy tank.
yeah, those two checks always blend together for me anytime I'm doing comms.
Understandable.
But the same general area, you know? Dragonfang's in chat pointing out that Chris at this point is more likely to check Ridley than Charge Core with the setup if they get Wide Beam.
Or wave beam.
Or Wave Beam, yeah. They have Wide Beam. Sorry about that. Words are hard. And I have
Words
to
are
agree
hard
with
indeed.
Like the play. We do have the right equipment set up, though, that we can actually get a Ripper Tower check. We know it won't be go mode, but it's always the dream to find something important in there. And let's see what is in the back of Oasis. And Chris opting to pick up the missile tank in here, despite not having gravity suit, which makes it slightly challenging. Deciding to go out 60 missiles are enough to not worry. You have to wonder if they are thinking about going for a Nettery fight up here.
Charge plasma makes the Notori fight much more palatable, much faster than using a lot of missiles, especially if you don't have ice or supers.
That is true, although there is nothing more satisfying than just pumping Nettery full of about 50 fully upgraded missiles.
That is always fun.
And I am going to pass over to chat. Chat, do you have any questions for Tupto here?
Hello. I'm Duffy.
Does not look like we have any questions coming in, as Chris continuing to make their way through Sector 2.
I think Chris is about to cut in. Yeah.
Yeah, especially we do have a marathon set up because we are going through both games, or if necessary, all three matches.
Yeah.
So Spark3737 from chat does have a question. What part of the run were you most happy with?
Killing the Omega Metroid.
It's always nice to finish off the run, yeah. You got through breaking out a lower 4 really quickly with that single ice beam, though.
Yeah, I would have been faster, but I messed up my shine spark, so I had to climb it again. It's fine. That room is a massive pain if you don't have high jump though. I would go back and get the shine to do it if I didn't have high jump.
And Chris has just forfeited, so we'll probably drag drag them into chat for a post-race interview as well. But if not, we'll be moving towards the second race of this series. So we'll see what happens there.
Gonna get him with his phone.
Yeah, and looking forward from here. And I was talking on mute. But the winner of this series is going to go up against the winner of the match that was just on SpeedGaming 1 before this, which a number of folks got rated over here from, between Lenofis and Great Pikmin. And it looks like we do have Chris joining us.
Buddy.
GG, Chris.
Thank you. Yep. That was a race, certainly.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna be happy.
Yeah, I'm guessing there were a couple places where I just made some like really like hasty shortcuts because I thought I was just really behind. Like I didn't like visually check a few Sector 3 checks.
Oh, dude, like from the start, you were way ahead. I died like in the Kago room first try, so I had to go redo that whole 4 minutes.
Wow, I never would have guessed. I just I messed up a few speed booster tricks and stuff, and I just kind of assumed. I don't know. I was playing with a little bit of nerves and all that. I think I probably just missed a couple checks in either 3 or maybe 3 or main deck or something.
The big problem is that you didn't go back into 1 after you left with the plasma beam.
Right.
The charge core area had gravity suit.
Oh, you.
Yeah, man. Like this for me, this seed was like disgusting because I die, I go and redo it. I head to Arachnus instead of 1 first, so I find the morph ball. So I can just I clear out all of Sector 1 in one go, and then it's just go mode.
Yeah, jumping into Arachnus without Morph Ball is a gamble. It's a scary option that you have open because you have 5 other checks that aren't soft locked that could also be Morph Ball. It's a coin toss whether or not Arachnus has Morph Ball at that spot, at that point.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but it paid off. And then, Chris, as you were going through, when you found the screw attack in Sector 4, that just sent you in all the wrong directions.
Yeah, I was thinking about whether to do 4, 2, or I didn't even think about 1, honestly. So I guess it didn't ultimately matter which way I went. But yeah, once I got the screw attack, I assumed that was some sort of like logic hint because of how constrained the whole seed was up to that point. And it was hopeless from there because I was going every which way.
Yeah, if I found screw attack, I would have been in the same boat as you. This could have been a really long one. But yeah, if you play this right, I reckon you could finish this seed in 20 minutes easy.
For sure, yeah. It basically hands you everything. You just have to come back for it.
You just have to throw yourself into a soft lock very confidently in order to get that time.
Yeah, I mean we had go mode earlier than 18 minutes in, and that's with losing 3.5 minutes to a death. So this is one of the fastest seeds that I've ever come across. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting.
Indeed.
Have we got the next seed yet? We do. All right.
Ooh.
Let's get that patch.
I should probably get that going.
Oh no, that's match 1. Damn it.
That's match 1 twice. Good job, Herc.
No, he didn't send it. He didn't send it.
Oh. So, no, it was MSG
I
versus
just see
Flipside 1 and Chris versus
my name
tupto 1.
highlighted.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, new. No, it's not new.
Well, Herc, if you're still in chat, if you could get that. Oh, there it is. Match 2 posted just now. So we'll get the runners patched up. We'll finish this episode off, and we'll start up with the next race very shortly.
All right. Thanks and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
So this is Army of One, joined by Autumn Out of Habit, with Tupto and TheyAreChris running, and we'll all see you in just a few more minutes. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
GG's, everyone.
Thank you. GG.